edition of War Week Radio with three-decade fight trainer James Gogue. Guys, before we introduce our featured guest of the program, we do have to remind everyone that this show is brought to you by Box.Buzz, B-U-Z-Z. Guys, for all the latest boxing news, please tap into the centralized hub that connects every single major boxing wire around the world, and it's updated 24/7. Guys, for all the latest boxing news, please go visit Box.Buzz. But guys, this would not be an episode of War Week Radio without the counsel of our very good friend, master strategist, the one and only Mr. James Gogue. James, how the heck are you, brother?
Hey, Joe, I'm doing great. They got a lot of great fights coming up this weekend. Very popular fighters, what I'm trying to say. They got Usyk, Inoue, and that pay-per-view card that shouldn't be pay-per-view. And from what you're telling me, the ticket sales ain't doing so good. So, yeah, we got a lot of good things to talk about. What's happening in this racket they call the professional boxing business.
Wait a minute. You mean to tell me your favorite fight of the weekend isn't going to be Jaime Munguia versus Turiano Johnson?
Oh, shoot. I forgot about him. Yeah, we'll talk about
Friday,
him, too.
Brother.
You know what I mean?
No,
I like making fun of him.
The reason why it's so noteworthy, Gogue, the reason why we're going to mention that one that can't be left out, because Golden Boy this is their first fight off the snide. Now, I know they had a feature with Virgil Ortiz, but that was before all of the Canelo nonsense took place, right? So with Canelo pretty much on the pine indefinitely, and that's the way it looks, this is their guy. This is Oscar's guy now. His next go-to Mexican fighter is Jaime Munguia. So they need him to make a big hit. They need him to score a big hit. So don't be surprised if you start seeing Jaime Munguia beat his chest and call out names like Jamal Charlo and Triple G and Demetrius Andrade, even though he's nowhere near ready for those guys.
Yeah. Let's just see.
But I tell you what, let's look. I'm sorry, what did you say, sir?
Yeah, let's see. I like making fun of him a lot, but he is an entertaining fighter, because he's an aggressive, volume puncher. He gets hit a lot, but his last fight, he showed me that he did improve in his boxing skills, with his new trainers. So I want to see if that last fight was aberration or if it was, the new Jaime Munguia, where we're going to see him build on that last fight and on what he did his last fight.
Indeed. But right now we're going to look at the big one on Saturday night, and it's going to be for, 1.5 titles, Gogue.
Oh, yeah.
And I say this because, and Gervonta Davis, he is one of the minor title holders in this fight, right? Because he is still carrying around the regular WBA lightweight title. And that's one of the reasons why Floyd was so upset is because, in Gervonta's last fight against Yuriorkis Gamboa in Atlanta, Georgia last year, in December of last year, they took 3% of his purse, giving him this title, and it turns out, no one really thinks very much of it. Teofimo Lopez or Lomachenko, before getting defeated by Teofimo Lopez, was indeed the super WBA. He was the real claimant of the WBA championship at 135 pounds. So what does that make Gervonta Davis at 35, Gogue?
A wannabe 135-pound champion. That goes at them bullshit belts again, Joe, we talked about, okay? It's created by these sanctioning bodies that's ruining the, credibility of the sport, okay? It's ruining the meaning of what it means to be world champion. Like I talked about in the past, back in the days when you won a title, it was sacred, okay? It was something special. Now it's a fucking joke with all them belts out there. It's worthless. When you dilute the sport with all those bullshit belts. You destroy the credibility and the meaning of what it means to be world champion, which means, Joe, back then when you became world champion, it was like a sacred moment, like, oh my God, this guy, he's the new champion, he's the best in the world. Now, shit, man, they got like what? The WBA, they got what? 4 champions per every weight division. And they always, they always got some bullshit excuse. Oh, well, the TV, we're giving more opportunity to these fighters out there, and the TVs, they want title fights and all this bullshit. It's just another way for them, to get 3%. That's all. They're an organization run by greed, corruption. You know what I mean? And it's phony. Their belt has lost a lot of credibility because, Joe, the BC and the BA were the only belts back then, okay? Before all these other bullshit belt organizations joined. And the WBA belt was a sacred belt with the WBC, okay? Now, oh, God, what Mendoza's done, the president of WBA, what he's done to that organization, he's made that organization a big sham.
Yeah, if you look at the Vince Lombardi Trophy in the NFL, boy, that's special when you get to raise that over your head. When you look at the Stanley Cup and you look at the MLB Trophy, you look at winning the pennant, you look at winning the World Series. Those are some of the toughest accomplishments in all of sports. It used to be when you became a world champion, if you became the heavyweight champion of the world, that was bigger than everything. That was the biggest title in all of sports. Well, not anymore. Not anymore. When you consider that Manuel Char is the WBA regular heavyweight champion and he hasn't fought in 3 years, yeah, it pretty much diminishes that distinction, doesn't it?
Joe, whose fault is it? It's these sanctioning bodies, and it's these promoters allowing this shit, and the TVs, the TV people allowing this, okay?
Yep. The promoters are selling these fights to the networks.
Exactly. They're allowing that shit. But, Top Rank don't do that. They don't do that a lot. You know what I mean? They work with the WBA mostly, and the WBO, Paco Vera,
the WBO,
Puerto Rico.
Right.
Yeah, they work with them mostly, and Paco don't do all the bullshit belts. Okay, he tries to keep it authentic as possible, as long and IBF does the same thing. But the BA, the BC, just to get those little sanctions, these are fucking jokes, man. I lost a lot of respect for them guys.
Yeah, well, the reason why I mentioned the WBA regular lightweight championship, because it's still on the line. Even though they're going to be campaigning or competing at 130 pounds, they're making both belts still up for grabs in this. And do you know why, Gogue? Do you have any idea why?
Yeah, like you said, Fat Boy can't make 130.
That's
plus,
it.
They'll get 3% from both.
Yep, that's it. Because Gervonta Davis, just in case he can't make 130, well, it's still going to be considered a championship fight this Saturday on Halloween. Trick or treat, everybody. It's going to be in the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. So before we start breaking down the strengths and weaknesses of both fighters, let's take a look at the tell the tape for the current Super WBA 130-pound champion, Mr. Leo Santa Cruz. He goes by the alias or the ring moniker of El Terremoto. He is going to compete at age 32 this Saturday. Jeez. He fights out of the orthodox stance. He stands 5'7.5" tall in the center of the ring. He fights behind a 69-inch reach. Originally from Michoacán, Mexico. He now resides in Rosemead, California. He has a very impressive record of 37 wins, 1 loss, 1 draw, 19 big wins coming by way of knockout. Gogue, what are the strengths and weaknesses of Mr. Leo Santa Cruz?
Boy, Joe, he's 32 already. Remember when we had him on I got him on our show a long time ago, back in
About
2012?
10 years ago, yep. He was just a young kid who was still competing at the bantamweight division of 118.
And he wasn't champion yet.
Nope, wasn't champion yet.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, boy, time goes by fast. Oh, man, now he's 32. Wow. But anyway.
10 years ago, Gogue.
Yeah, when you told me that, I was like, oh, God, we're getting old. But anyway, the strengths and weaknesses of Santa Cruz. You know what, Joe? Back then, he was just a technically sound fighter. Remember, hands up, elbows tucked in, fundamentally sound. You know, through every punch in the book. Good jab, good straight right hand, good hooks, and a tremendous body puncher. And he always put his combinations together with variation, like Canelo, okay? Creative combination puncher to the body, head, body. Just a classic, just textbook. The way he delivers his punches, Joe, but just mechanically sound. Hands up, nice and tight. Good balance, good stance. The Carl Frampton fight, the first time he fought Frampton, he applied that hard physical pressure that he likes to apply on fighters to wear them down and break them down. But Frampton met to challenge that fight and beat him at his own game and beat him at a distance, too, and won that decision. In the rematch, Santa Cruz changed up. That showed me right then and there, Joe. He got better. Instead of just coming forward and throwing a mass volume of punches at your opponent just to wear you down, he knew it didn't work against Frampton, so he had to adapt. And how did he adapt? He became a better boxer from range and distance. Okay, controlling range and distance with that jab, with those combinations, movement. Okay, instead of just standing there in front of you and trying to walk through you, he was using a different dimension to his game that I never seen before. That means he got better, Joe. And since that fight, after that fight, when he fought Morris, he applied the same strategy. Boxer, counter punching, and when he has to press the action, he'll do it. But he added them dimensions to his game he never had before, Joe. So he's become a more versatile fighter. What I'm trying to say, he can adapt, make changes to his game. Whereas before, when he was coming up, it's just one dimension. Full steam ahead. I'm gonna wear you down. I'm gonna come at you, break your pipes. With my high pressure volume punch attack. If you can't take it, well, that's too bad. But he found out from Frampton that wasn't good enough, so he changed. He added more. He added that dimension to his game that he was missing, and you can see he's going to need that when he fights Tank. He's got to be the matador in the ring, okay? But that's he has a lot of championship experience too, Joe. Okay, he's not worn out and over the hill. He's still a young 32. Yeah, because, look, Joe, these fighters don't fight enough. They only fight twice a year. How the hell are you going to get burnt out, fighting twice a year, once a year, okay? So he's still got a lot of, he's still got a lot of miles on his engine, a lot of gas in his tank. And the thing with Leo, between fights, he's not like Fat Boy Tank Davis. He's a professional. He trains between fights to stay sharp, to keep his weight in check and everything, okay? And he's always working on new things, him and his brothers, okay, because they got a real tight-knit team with him and his brother and his dad training them. So, they're always finding they're always working on new ways to improve them, just like in the Frampton fight. So, you combine all these things right here, Joe, makes him a formidable opponent against Tank, going into this pay-per-view fight. So, yeah, that's pretty much it about Leo. You know what I mean? It's just, he's just a more versatile fighter than just a one-dimensional fighter when he won his first title at bantamweight.
Indeed, and even still, even that one dimension though. Oh, look out! Defensively and offensively, boy, he just tore up Vusi Malinga to win the IBF title at 118 pounds, his very first belt at the bantamweight division. He looked tremendous. But yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
He's really grown as a fighter, matured. Now, please clarify this because he gets a really bad rap. He gets a lot of unnecessary criticism. It's because Carl Frampton started going through some promotional issues, and he's still trying to work his way out with McQuiggan, right? He's still in court with him. But a lot of people, for some reason, seem to think that Leo Santa Cruz didn't want that rubber match with Frampton, thought he was afraid of it. And he still gets criticized to this day for not following through or not going through with the rubber match. But please clarify that, because anyone within the industry understands that it's because of the promotional issues with Carl Frampton is the reason why that rubber match never took place. Not because Leo Santa Cruz was afraid of him.
That and the fact that they didn't really want to go to his backyard, because Frampton went to New York, then he went to Vegas, okay? Then Leo was supposed to go to his backyard. It was a verbal agreement, but nothing happened out of it and everything. So yeah, because the dad was kind of worried they wouldn't get a decision. Which when you go into somebody's backyard, chance of it. When you're fighting in front of 15,000 of Frampton's fans, you know what I mean? and you ain't got a lot of fans there. Yeah, like I said, Joe, when you go on the road and you're fighting in someone's backyard, it's tough to win. So his dad, it's probably Al too, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, the hell with it, man. You know what I mean? I'm not going to put my guy at a disadvantage, so we're just going to move on.
So as we're seeing, this is a very important fight for Leo Santa Cruz. He's trying to shake off all the criticism to silence his harshest detractors with this fight against the always dangerous Mr. Gervonta Davis. Let's take a look at the tape for the current WBA regular lightweight champion.
Yeah.
I say that in jest, but boy, Gervonta Davis, he is a tough guy. And he's a serious fighter. And it's funny, he walks around and plays the thug on TV, right?
Yeah.
But this is a guy who has a sterling amateur record. Talk about the deep amateur pedigree and how accomplished Gervonta Davis really is.
He had, over 200 amateur fights, and he was a, national junior champion and all that. But that's all good and dandy. I've seen a lot of guys like that, but they never done nothing in the pros. Okay, Gervonta's style, he's just a explosive puncher. Okay, fast, a lot of speed and a lot of explosiveness behind his punches, and he's strong. He's a strong little bull, and he can hurt you at any time. That's what makes him a good pro fighter. Okay. But that amateur pedigree, I've seen Gervonta fighting that, in the junior ranks. When he was a little kid, he turned pro at 18, so he never got to fight with the big boys and everything. But you could see his style was made for the pros because, he's just fast and explosive and could punch right then and there. That's a professional fighter, Joe. That separates him from the amateur fighters who slap like little bitches when they fight, okay? Gervonta, he's got some, he's got some pop in those punches and everything, So that's what makes him a fearsome fighter. He's just, he's a physically strong, explosive puncher, and he has quickness and speed, and he's a tough kid too. You know what I mean? He's a tough kid and everything. So as far as skills, still green. He's still green. He's not. Santa Cruz got more skills and more polish. But
we'll talk about that in a second. Let's rattle off the tape for one Gervonta Tank Davis. He's going to be entering the ring at almost 26 years old. He's going to be turning 26 next week, Gogue. But as of right now, he's going to be entering the ring at age 25. He fights officially out of the southpaw stance. He stands 5'5.5" tall in the center of the ring. He fights behind a 67.5-inch reach from Baltimore, Maryland. He comes into the ring with a perfect record. 23 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws. 22 wins coming by way of knockout, Gogue. Here is Gervonta Davis, and you know what you stated as far as Leo Santa Cruz being the more, skilled of the two and the more seemingly mature of the two. But what is the ultimate neutralizer that Gervonta Davis brings to the ring?
Explosive punching power. That eliminates his mistakes.
Yeah, he's, you look at, now think about this, though. Think about this. Against Leo Santa Cruz is, his only loss is a Carl to the Jackal Frampton. He's got a draw with Abdermates. And Gervonta Davis, he's all but stopped all but one fighter within the distance, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got to go all the way back to the 126-pound weight division for that, right? And that was a 6-round fight in which he had, dropped his opponent twice. You've got to go all the way back to the 6-round stage to see him, someone take him to the distance, and that was only 6 rounds, right?
Yeah.
So something's got to give here, Gogue. Leo Santa Cruz has proven his durability against top elite-level opposition, but Gervonta Davis, boy, he doesn't like to see the final bell. Even against someone as traditionally durable as Yuriorkis Gamboa and as experienced as Yuriorkis Gamboa, putting him out in the final round of their scheduled 12-round championship fight. Gogue, what do you like from this fight? Because a lot of critics have pointed out that this fight should have happened 3 or 4 years ago. Your thoughts on this matchup that we're going to see on Halloween night in Alamodome, San Antonio, Texas?
Oh, it's a good matchup, Joe. Is it pay-per-view worthy? Oh, absolutely not. But it's a good matchup because you got one of the young stars in boxing, Tank Davis, explosive puncher, who's created a lot of buzz because of all those knockouts he has. You know, Don Chargano was told me that, you know, if you could punch and you start knocking them out a lot, you create a lot of buzz, and that's what Tank Davis has done. Now he's going against an established veteran, you know, not past his prime like Gamboa or some of them other shot fighters he fought, but a guy who's, you know, 3 division weight champion or 2 division weight champion, a guy who's, you know, only lost once, solid all around skills. Yeah, it's intriguing, Joe. It's intriguing and everything. But the only thing I don't like about it, Joe, it's not on pay-per-view. That's why it doesn't. I mean, that's the only reason I don't like it, because it's on pay-per-view, okay? And that doesn't intrigue me as you know, like Joe. In order to make a big fight, it's got to be in the right venue. Don Chargan told me this. It's got to be on the right venue and the right platform. Well, the pay-per-view platform is not. This is not pay-per-view worthy where it gets the fans excited about it. Okay, and the venue. Okay, you told me the ticket sales are shit over there. Nobody's buying tickets because they're too fucking expensive. You know, they're charging Las Vegas prices in a market like San Antonio. Okay, and they think they could get away with it, but as far as the matchup, Joe, it's a good matchup, Joe. It's not like, oh my God, a big superstar matchup where, you know, it's something special. It's a good matchup for Gervonta to see where he's at and everything. Because he's going, like I said, Santa Cruz. He's going to come prepared. He's going to come in shape, okay. And he's got a lot of experience and everything, okay. But can he stay away from that power for 12 rounds, okay? Because that Tank, like I said, Tank, when he hits you, he'll hurt you. And you know, he fights in spurts, Joe. Okay, he's kind of like a basketball player, you know, who gets hot. He's a streak shooter. Once he gets on a groove, he'll keep shooting the ball. That's the way Tank fights. He'll hurt you with a shot. Oh, that gets him. That just you can see that adrenaline starts kicking in, and that he'll start. He's like a shark that smells blood and water. He goes for the kill, and that's why Tank. He's got a He's got a lot of popularity in the urban market because of that explosive punching power that he has and everything. So that's what's always going to keep him in the ball game and everything. But like I said, Leo's got a lot of veteran experience and everything. Can he find a way to neutralize that big left hand of Tank, that big right hook of Tank, that and that speed? You know what I mean? That suddenness, that quick, fast twitch muscles that Tank possesses, God given, just like Teofimo Lopez and everything. So yeah, it's interesting, Joe. Interesting, but not on pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think, and as we talked about on Lee Cleveland's show as well this past Saturday, it's pretty obvious, judging by the irrational and unintelligible rant from Floyd Mayweather during Gervonta Davis's media workout, right? He just went off. And judging by that, well, yeah, you can see that he's a little concerned that this pay-per-view effort isn't going to do nearly as well because of the huge critical and commercial success of Lopez over Loma, right?
Yeah.
He's a little concerned with that. So now it looks like Mayweather's going to try and, do his best impression of P.T. Barnum, and he may actually accompany Gervonta Davis and be in his corner alongside head trainer Calvin Ford for this fight. Yeah. This is what Floyd Mayweather had to say about this. Quote, I haven't spoke to Calvin yet, but in the gym, me and Calvin, we work hand in hand for Gervonta's benefit. But those that don't know who Calvin is, that's Tank's trainer. And me and Calvin, we speak, we work together in the gym. Sometimes I have to leave and fly away and take care of business, but when I'm back, I'm there to give him, just pointers, talking to him about pay-per-view and how everything works. Because, as far as getting ready for this fight, I feel as though I wanted to bring my camp to, Las Vegas, Gervonta to Las Vegas to get the most out of him, to motivate him. Because sometimes when a guy's in a boxing gym and he's had hard work throughout that day, sometimes a guy don't want to work. I mean, as far as he don't want to do certain interviews and certain things like that, but you have to because that's part of the job. That's a part of you being a champion. That's a part of pay-per-view. And when we invest in a fight like this, we want these guys to give us 100% because we're giving 100%. End quote. He understands, right? Gervonta is kind of a powder keg at times. He's very emotional at times. Do you think it's a good idea that Floyd? Do you think it's a good idea that Floyd alleviates some of that press, some of that pressure off of Gervonta Davis and accompany him in the corner?
Of course. This kid ain't. This kid. What do you call it? He might have great God-given natural talent, but mentally, he's not mature enough to handle, this type of big event. Okay, you gotta, like I said, you gotta be a businessman and a fighter when you're trying to sell pay-per-view. Okay, it's just not like you're fighting on free TV and you're training. What do you call it? You're training for the fight and you show up for the fight. Nah, you want to drive numbers up there, man. You know what I mean? Because this pay-per-view, he's probably getting paid a lot of money. I know Santa Cruz is. And guess what? They have a budget. And this pay-per-view is going to cost them this amount of money. That means they got to drive, they got to sell this amount of pay-per-views. And if they don't, well, guess what? They lose. That's the risk of doing pay-per-view, Hey, when you're like Floyd Mayweather and you're doing $4-5 million when fighting Pacquiao and, McGregor, you hit home runs. Okay, all the time. But, when you get a guy like this is his first pay-per-view, and the money he's making and the money Santa Cruz is making, hey, man, you better drive some damn numbers. That means you got to do those extra things like Floyd was saying, okay? And like I said, Joe, he needs Floyd to show him, to show him the ropes, the business side of it. Because this guy, come on, man, he's from the fucking street. Okay, what does he know about fucking balance? He can't even write a check, I bet. You know what I mean, Joe? But anyway, what the fuck does he know about finance and business and everything? It's good for Floyd to be there. Floyd needs to be there with him, okay, to hold him by the hand and guide him, do all the stuff, all the steps necessary to be, that transition to that pay-per-view star he's trying to make. Yeah. And as far as fighting in the corner and all that, Joe, him and Calvin can do that. They don't need Floyd for that, okay? All right. But as far as the business part, it's good to have Floyd there, because all the extra pressure when you're, especially when you're fighting on pay-per-view, the highest level of boxing. You know what I mean? You get all the media stuff you got to handle, and Joe, just the endless details, man. What it takes to make a pay-per-view successful and everything. So, but if you want to be a pay-per-view star, Floyd is good. Floyd is a good role model to have there because, hey, Floyd's done it. Okay?
Indeed. So what are the keys to victory? What does Gervonta Davis have to do to get past and potentially stop someone as durable mentally and physically as Leo Santa Cruz?
Just be himself. Let his God-given instincts and talent take over, man. It's fast, explosive punches. One thing is, strategy-wise, he can't let Santa Cruz control distance. Okay, he's got to close the distance. He's got to cut off the movement of Santa Cruz. Okay, best to do, cut off that move and get him trapped in a corner on the ropes. Then, once you got that distance closed, Joe, then the fast, explosive punches, that left hand with the right hook, Tank can punch with that right hook, or that straight left hand, some uppercuts, yeah. And just take, get Tank into position where he can close the distance, cut off the ring, and just let his heavy hands take over. And if he hits Santa Cruz, he's hurt. He's knocked out 22 out of 23 people, Can he hurt Santa Cruz? Oh, yeah. That's God-given power, Joe. It's frightening. You can't teach, okay? Mike Tyson, you can't teach that type of power. Julian Jackson. Inoue, who we're going to be talking about, That's God-given, Joe. That's why they're on this level. Okay, you could be not fundamentally sound or technically sound as a fighter, but if you got that kind of crazy punching power, like Nassim Ahmed, also reminds me, it makes up for all your mistakes. So that's what he basically got to do. Just be Tank, close that distance, be aggressive, get the right distance. Once you get the right distance, then the bombs are gonna fast, explosive, and everything. You know what I mean? And just don't give Santa Cruz that space to work, that the real estate to move around him, to keep him a distance, like he did Frampton. Then he'll come. He should come out victorious and everything.
Yeah, and when you look at the odds, Gogue, and guys, we're going to be going through more in a more in-depth examination. We're going to go through all of the rounds, the group round betting, the round betting, the total rounds, everything on Lee Cleveland Show the closer we get to the fight, as we like to have the most accurate numbers available when we give you our professional assessment. But looking at the odds right now, as of Monday, Gogue, some sports books, like DraftKings, are as wide as they showing Gervonta Davis a minus 670 and Leo Santa Cruz a plus 475. Do you agree with those odds, or do you think those are just way too wide?
Maybe 4-1. I get 3 to 4-1 for Tank. Because he's an explosive puncher and everything. You know what I mean? Joe, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1. You know what I mean? The reason why there's a reason why the odds makers put the odds out there so they can make money. All right. If the money's going on if more money's going on one fighter, of course they're going to jack up the odds. If more money's going on Santa Cruz, the odds are going to start, coming down and everything. So it's business.
That's right.
You know what I mean? It's business and everything. And Lopez proved that the odds don't mean shit. Teofimo Lopez, he upset the odds the other day. So he proved that shit don't, it don't matter.
He sure
I think
did.
It's gonna
he proved that it is indeed fan-driven. That's right, Gogue. It's wherever the money is lying. Yep.
Yeah. And I really believe that, it's going to be a competitive fight because of, Santa Cruz's experience and his good sound fundamental skills and his mental toughness, okay? But the keys I didn't go over the keys for victory for Santa Cruz, did I?
No, we're getting to that right now. So what does Leo Santa Cruz have to do to prove the odds makers wrong and to upset the heavily favored Gervonta Davis on Saturday night?
One thing, Joe. He's just got to do one thing to upset. You know what that is? Don't get hit.
Oh, jeez. That's
don't
it. I'll go
by tanks. If he don't get hit by tanks bombs, I think he'll have a good chance of beating him because of his volume, his high work rate, Joe. Okay? If he boxes from range and distance and doesn't get in a slugging match with this fucking guy in the pocket, like Pedrosa made a mistake and took him in the pocket. Big mistake. He got knocked out. He paid for his mistakes. He got knocked the fuck out. Now, Santa Cruz keeps his distance and range and box and stays to his left to avoid that big left hand, okay? And boxes and puts his combinations together in volume. I'll point him, Joe, okay? And stay off the ropes. Stay out of the corners, Joe. You don't want to be a stationary target for this fucking guy. Because when he gets his feet set, them punches are explosive. Like Tyson when he was small, when he was young. And the most dangerous places in the ring are where? In the corner or on the ropes. There's no real estate for you to move out. So you keep it in the center of the ring as much as possible. You have that real estate to move in and out of range, to move in circles, to keep everything at distance, to box, land them quickly and land them short. Feint them a lot too, because Tank's a good counterpuncher. You throw a right hand out there, he slips and counters with his left hand. So feint him a lot. People don't understand how valuable the feints are. Okay, a feint can mess with a person that knows how to feint can mess with a fighter's head, can make him more hesitant. Okay, all right, get him out of rhythm, but disrupt his timing. And when you do that, Joe, when you get a fighter out of rhythm and you disrupt his timing, oh man, mentally it messes with his head. It makes him less confident, less unsure of himself, and that's what Leo has to do. You know what I mean? He's got to. He can't let Tank get in that groove, because once Tank, remember I said, once he hits you with a big shot, he hurts you. He's like a shark in water, smelling blood, and he gets that momentum going. Okay, and once he gets that momentum going, it's hard to slow that Tank train down, boy. So Leo just got to fight a nice, smart, intelligent fight. Keep it in the center ring. Keep it off the ropes, out of the corners, and just keep it at range. And feint a lot so he doesn't counter, break his timing and rhythm, put his combinations together. The uppercut should be on southpaws. The uppercut should be there. Leo loves to throw those uppercuts, the right uppercuts and the left uppercuts. They should be there. And, Joe, what I would do, Fat Boy, if he has a problem making weight, or he's going to be weight depleted, box him intelligently, first 8 rounds. Then second, when Fat Boy starts slowing down, then start, putting that pressure on him, okay? Hitting him to the body. The best way to slow a steamroller like Tank down, you got to flatten his tires. You do that with good body shots, okay? Take away his legs. Leo's a very good body puncher, okay? So just like Lopez, the straight right hands to the body, the sweeping right hooks, the straight right, the sweeping right hooks to the body, like Lopez, exactly like Lopez, what he did to Lomachenko. Okay, the straight rights, the straight sweeping right hooks, the sweeping right, the straight right hands to the head, the sweeping right, the long distance sweeping right hand, right hooks to the head. You know what I mean? And keep it ranged and counterpunch this guy. When you're a good counterpuncher, Joe, it makes your opponent hesitant. Then if you have good feints behind it, it makes you even more effective. But what's going to make Leo's feints and combinations effective, Joe? He's got to get this guy's attention early on. You know what I mean? He's got to hurt. He's got to hurt Tank, a bully, with shots. Because if you don't hurt a bully, like a guy like Tank with some shots, you just can't rely on outpointing them and feather fisting Tank. No, you got to get this. You got to get this guy from the ghetto. You got to get his attention, okay? Because Tank's a bully, okay? He's a bully, and what do you do to get a bully's attention? You punch him right in his fucking mouth. Let him know that you're not going to be steamrolled. And if that's the only thing is, I don't know if Santa Cruz has the power to do that, man. Not like Teofimo Lopez, he had the power to do that, okay, to dissuade and discourage Lomachenko from getting into an offensive groove. I don't know if Tank has that. I mean, I don't know if Santa Cruz has that power, that attention.
No,
getter,
well,
so.
he had great power at 18 and 22, but at 130 pounds, that's a different story now, isn't it?
Different ball game, Joe.
Well, at least that's how you know Leo Santa Cruz isn't juicing, Gogue, because he didn't take his super bantamweight power up to super featherweight.
Oh, you mean like Sergio Martinez? Shit, Sergio Martinez couldn't crack an egg. He couldn't crack an egg 47-54. All of a sudden he moves up to 160. And he's knocking guys out. Oh, give me a break. I'm not accusing of him on that shit, but I'm highly suspicious he was on that shit. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah, well, thank goodness Leo Santa Cruz isn't eating any of that Mexican meat. So,
Yeah.
He's not eating those carnitas.
Man, honestly, Joe, from a personal perspective, I hope Leo wins. I like Leo. He's a great guy. One of the most nicest guys you ever meet in boxing. See, boxing, you have a bunch of shitholes. Boxing, you got a bunch of assholes and shitholes, dipshits, and every negative name you could call in the book. That's the kind of people you run into boxing that are in the business, But Leo, man, he's one of the great guys in boxing, man. I haven't talked to him in a while. I'll probably message him. I got his number. I'll probably message him, wish him good luck, but I haven't talked to him in a while. But, yeah, he's one of the good guys, man, the good-hearted human beings in boxing. So I hopefully he wins, and, you know what I mean, and he'll go on to bigger paydays and everything, But, golly, that's something if he executes his game plan, like I said, and doesn't get hit by Tank, you know what, Joe? They're fighting in Texas. You know what I mean?
That's right, San Antonio,
and
the Alamo City,
and he's Hispanic. They might give him the edge.
Well, they certainly gave Orlando Salido the edge when he fought Lomachenko on the undercard of Chavez versus Ryan Veta 2, right?
Yeah.
So stranger things have happened in South Texas, Gogue.
Yeah.
I know I don't know. Maybe what you want to happen is very different than what you think is going to happen. So please let us know, Gogue, enlighten us. What do you think is going to happen this Saturday night, October 31st, in the Alamo Dome, the main event of the evening, Gervonta Davis and Leo Santa Cruz?
What I think is going to happen, I don't think he's going to have the power to keep this bull off him and everything. And, if he gets caught early on, you know what I mean? Tank is he's just a physically strong, explosive fighter. And if he catches you early on, from 6 rounds and under, oh my God, it's hard to, it's going to be hard for him to get into the second half of the fight. But if he could somehow not get punished by those punches, some vicious punches by Tank early on, and take him into the back half of the fight, maybe, him draining him, draining himself to make 130, which I think is going to be very, very hard for him, Joe. It's going to take a lot out of him. Because if you watch those All Access, he's training with a plastic suit on, one of them sauna suits on all the time. Joe, you do that all the time. It's gonna, that takes a lot out of your body. That takes, that zaps a lot of energy out of you. So, when you go into a fight, and you going down the stretch, your legs start giving out, your body starts giving out. And if Leo could, somehow, avoid those big bombs with good technical boxing skills from range and distance, and hit that body early on too, you know what I mean, if he has to. But, in the back half of the fight, you know what I mean? The Tank doesn't have that pop on his punch. A guy like Tank can always punch. But, as the fight goes down and you take away his legs and zap a lot of that strength, well, that power, starts, diminishing too and everything. I think, he can maybe, hustle, outpoint him and get a victory. But the way it's going to play out, like I said, Joe, it's just if he can avoid the punching power, that ferocious punching power of Tank, you know what I mean? Then he has a better chance, a higher chance of winning. Okay, but if he consistently gets hit by those big bombs, I don't see how he's going to be able to make it to the back half of the fight. You know what I mean? And if he starts getting hit a lot, I can see his dad or brothers, stopping the fight and everything. And they don't want to see they don't want to see a family member, getting destroyed or getting hurt in the ring.
Not.
So,
Of course not.
So, but Tank is.
So is that your official prediction, Gogue? Gervonta Davis, mid to late round stoppage?
Well, if Leo could get past those first 6 rounds, probably Davis. Man, like I said, Joe, Lopez proved last week you can upset the odds, okay. And I'm going from to upset this guy. He can't get hit a lot within them first 6, 7 rounds, okay? And he's got to get his attention. But I'm going. What's going to happen? Maybe Davis with the decision. Going by the odds. Yeah. But I'm.
So
I'm keeping my fingers.
You think Leo Santa Cruz has the physical and mental durability to take him to the final bell?
He's got the experience. Okay, and he's got that. You know what I mean? He's got the conditioning. Okay. And, but can he avoid those left hands? Well, if you're a smart fighter, Joe, and you can adapt that defensively, you can the amount of times you get hit by those big power punches by Tank, okay? So, yeah, I'm going by probabilities, okay? Yeah, he can go the distance. And the less he gets hit by those big bombs, and the more he fights his game plan. Yeah, he can upset the odds like Teofimo Lopez did last week. But he's got to be able to get his attention. That's going to be, and I don't think he is hard enough, Joe. Nah, but making 130, Joe. That's the reason why. Look, Fat Boy couldn't make 135 his last fight. He had to come back an hour later to lose that weight. Okay, now he's got to take out 5 more pounds, and he's training in the sauna suit all the time. That's what I'm saying, Joe. He might be strong early on because he's a young kid, but you go into the back half of the fight, is he gonna maintain that power, that endurance? Okay, that snap. You know what I mean? That energy level. So we'll see. It's intriguing. It's smart that Leo Santa Cruz made him. You want this fight? Fight me at 130. Okay. So.
And there you have it, guys. It's going to be your main event of the evening, October 31st, inside the Alamo Dome in San Antonio, Texas. It's going to be taking place on Showtime pay-per-view with for the bargain basement price, Gogue, of $74.99. How do you like that? Just 2 weeks removed from getting a more consequential bout at 135 pounds for absolutely nothing. 2 weeks later, we've got to pay $75 for this, title fight at 130. How do you think this performs on pay-per-view, Gogue?
Shit. You were saying 250. Joe, honestly, man, in order to be a pay-per-view star, you got to get the Hispanic market behind you, okay? I don't know. Tank, he ain't got the Hispanic market behind him, okay? You know what I mean? He ain't got that big Hispanic market behind him. So I don't know. He'll do better than the Charlos. Okay, maybe 125, 150. All right.
Well, that's not
Charlos,
saying much, Gogie.
Charlos, they said they did 100, 150. Bullshit. I heard he did 75. They owe Showtime. Look, Showtime owes, you know, if they hit a home run, the next day they'll start bragging about it. Oh, we did this, Matt. We did this. They haven't even mentioned it. They haven't even mentioned to this day how many pay-per-view buys they did. So basically it tanked. And, you know, you talk to people in the industry, they say 75. I agree.
Yeah.
75 is pretty what the Charlos did. Tank, he's, you know, more popular, okay? So throw in another 50, another 75. So, you know, 125 to 150, then, you know, will it be profitable? Well, depending on what their purses are. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I tell you what, so let's go through, are there any other fights on this pay-per-view bout sheet that has caught your eye? Because to be honest with you, Gogie, I mean, it sure hasn't. I don't
want to watch the regular WBA champion. I don't want to talk about
Mario
the regular
Barrios?
WBA. Nah, I don't want to talk about that guy. He ain't no world champion. But anyway, who else?
Regis Prograis versus Juan Heraldez.
Yeah, Regis, yeah. It's a good first fight for
He's
Regis
an
coming back
excellent fighter,
after losing.
and obviously they're setting up a showdown between Mario Barrios versus Regis Prograis.
Yeah,
that's why
Mario Barrios ain't no real world champion. Come on, man. He's got that bullshit belt.
No.
Everybody knows who the real champion is, and that's Josh Taylor. Okay, the WBA champion. Okay, so yeah, it's a good fight for.
And then to start the festivities, right? You've got Diego Magdaleno versus Isaac Cruz.
No, who gives a shit? I don't care.
Exactly.
But anyway, but Regis Prograis, yeah. Regis Prograis, this is a good fight. You know, just to get back in the groove. Mario Barrios, who gives a shit about him? I mean, he's not a real world champion. But anyway,
no.
Yeah. It's just a pathetic fucking pay-per-view, okay? It's a pathetic fucking pay-per-view. But anyway, go ahead, yeah. But, it's in the boxing.
So we're running out of time here, Gogie. We've devoted all of this time just to one fight, but we've got two more to break down. So let's try to do this as quickly as possible. In the main event of the evening on DAZN, October 31st, it's going to be happening around between 4 and 5 our time, right? Oleksandr Usyk is going to be taking on Dereck Chisora in his second professional bout in the heavyweight division, and this is going to be for the WBO mandatory position to see who challenges Anthony Joshua sometime next year. Gogie, let's look at the tape for one Dereck Chisora. Oof, geez, Dereck, boy, it seems like he's been in the ring forever. He's been doing this forever. Now as David Haye is his personal manager, he's going to come into the ring at age 36. He fights out of the orthodox stance. He stands 6 foot 1.5 inches tall in the center of the ring. He fights behind a 74-inch reach from London, England, originally from Zimbabwe, Africa. He comes into the ring with a checkered record of 32 wins, 9 losses, 23 wins coming by way of knockout. Gogie, what do you like about Dereck Chisora, and are you a little surprised that he's even in this situation?
Yeah, he just got knocked out real bad, and all of a sudden he's in another big fight this soon. Yeah, but this is boxing, though. You know, so and he's got the connect. You know, he's got the what do you call it? He's got Eddie Hearns behind him. So yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could come back and fight the big fight after you get knocked out bad in the fight, you know, previous. You know, Chisora's an aggressive fighter. You know what I mean? He's not scared of. You know, he's not scared to let his hands go. You know, explosive puncher too. You know, he's a big boy. Okay. Can he hurt you? Oh well, without a doubt. If he hits you right, oh yeah, he's a big boy, explosive fighter. What else about Chisora? That's about it. Joe, he's basically one-dimensional, okay? He's not a real, call it, top of the line boxer from range and distance. He wants to get close, okay? Okay, he's the kind of guy that wants to get close, so we can land. So he's an explosive puncher, and if he hits you, he can hurt you, okay? But it's you know what, Joe? He throws good body punches too, and he loops them overhand rights real good too. You know what I mean? Because he's kind of short, so he could squat down a little and loop them right hands over the top where you don't see him coming, okay? But yeah, he's just he's a fighter, Joe. He's a fighter for the heavyweight division. He's a fighter. He's got a lot of fight in him, and you know what I mean. Even though he's got losses, I don't look at that, Joe. I look at those. I look at the way he fights and who he's fought, and he just got knocked out bad, though, Joe. God, he's coming off this soon. You know what I mean? He's a bigger guy than Usyk, naturally bigger guy. Okay, and just because he's a heavyweight and he's an aggressive, explosive type puncher, yeah, right then and there, Joe, that's going to give anybody any problems. Anybody problems, okay?
Yeah, one of the reasons why many people have pointed to this fight, and David Haye insists that we're going to see an upset on Saturday, right, is because he points out in the amateurs, a guy like Oleksandr Usyk hasn't seen very many guys who fight like Dereck Chisora. Can you actually elaborate on that, sir?
He's a heavyweight that's aggressive, that, puts his combinations together. A guy who's explosive, who can hit.
But no. Why don't we see guys who fight like Dereck Chisora in the amateurs?
I don't know, Joe. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't know what the hell Hayes seen. I mean, Usyk fought every style out there. Come on, give me a fucking break. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's him saying that shit to promote the fight. Give me a fucking break. Usyk's fought every fucking style out there, man. And I'm pretty sure he's fought a regular, style like Chisora. Chisora's style ain't nothing. It's just he's a tough kid. When he's in shape, he's a load to handle because he's got a lot of fight in him. He's a fighter, Joe. He could punch. He's explosive, and he's pretty well coordinated. He throws. He's not some bum heavyweight that can't throw, that don't know how to throw his punches. He knows how to throw his punches, pretty sound. And like I said, Joe, them little looping overhand shots he throws, if he gets that right range and hits Usyk right over the top with him, he can hurt him because he's a big boy. And but I don't, like I said, Joe, you caught me off guard with that question, and I don't know what the fuck David Haye's. Saying that shit, man,
Well,
maybe just to promote his fucking boy, yeah. Of course.
Well, what he's referring to, and Dereck Chisora, he's a guy who's going to be in your grill. He fights a lot like Orlando Salido did Vasyl Lomachenko, where he's going to fight dirty. He's going to be right there in your mug from start to finish, or at least he's going to try to be.
He's seen that in the amateurs. He's seen that, yeah, He's seen that in the amateurs. I'm pretty sure coming up, he saw some of that stuff in the pros, and that ain't gonna bother him one fucking bit. He knows how to adapt. He's one of the smart. He's not only big boy, but he's an intelligent big boy. Okay, with skills.
Well, let's take a look at the tell the tape for one of the best pound for pound fighters in boxing, former cruiserweight lineal ring champion Oleksandr Usyk. He comes into the ring at age 33, Gogue. Originally from Kiev, Ukraine. He fights out of the southpaw stance. He stands 6'3" tall in the center of the ring. Fights behind a very lengthy 78-inch reach. He has a perfect record, 17 wins, 0 losses, 0 draws, 13 big wins coming by way of knockout. In his second fight as a heavyweight, what are the strengths and weaknesses of the boxing enigma, Oleksandr Usyk?
Oh, he's a solid fighter, Joe. High ring IQ for a big boy. That's rare because most heavyweights are just dumb and stupid. Okay, not him. He's very, very well schooled. Very well schooled. very intelligent on how to control range and distance, and it starts with his footwork. For a big boy, he has excellent footwork, okay? Southpaw, knows how to move in and out of range, knows how to pivot around you. He has that good lead left hand, that jab, okay? He knows how to feint real good, okay, Joe? He knows how to sneak them punches in, okay, that straight left hand. He knows how to sneak it in. He knows how to counter you, okay, Joe? He knows how, he knows how to put his, he's a bigger boy, so he's not like a younger, a smaller guy. We put those volumes of punches and combinations at you. But he, when he has to put his combinations together, he knows how to put them together at the right time. But he knows how to feint you, to disrupt your timing and rhythm, to disrupt your timing rhythm, to frustrate you. He knows how to move in and out of range to frustrate you even more. He knows how to pivot around you. You know what I mean, Joe? He knows how to work his jab effectively. Not only, with a nice stiff jab, but, a lot of touch jabs he puts out there and everything. Joe, the guy, like I said, Joe, he knows how to use his lead leg and position himself outside your lead leg, okay? So he can land his straight left hand, but you can't land your straight right hand. He's like Lomachenko. He knows the advantages of keeping his lead leg outside of his opponent's lead leg, okay? They're taught that in the amateurs, Joe. Those Ukrainian fighters, those Eastern European fighters on how to control distance if you're a southpaw, okay? And like I said, Joe, he's just a master boxer. He's a master boxer technician in that ring, Joe. See, that's what wins fights. A lot of heavyweights are not smart and crafty and have the ring IQ like this dude does, or the skills this guy has, okay? And he's a southpaw, Joe. That's even more dangerous, okay? When you got a southpaw with when you got a boxer with a high IQ, good all around skills, that knows how to use his skills, knows how to frustrate you, disrupt your timing and rhythm. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, he's not your typical heavyweight, okay? Like all of them out there. This guy his IQ is up there with Lomachenko and everything, or Crawford, Lomachenko, Shakur Stevenson. A guy that knows how to control range and distance effectively is a guy that has a high boxing IQ, and that's what this guy has. Now, his weaknesses is his inside game. He has no inside game. Now, that's where Chisora is going to have to take it in the pocket, okay, to have it to make the playing field uneven, okay? This guy has no inside game. He'll smother and tie you up and everything. But that's his only weakness, Joe, is his inside game. But range and distance, controlling and moving in and out of range, boxing you, picking your part with that jab, this sharp left hand, the counter right hooks, the pivoting and all that, Joe. Oh, yeah. Feints. Oh, yeah. This guy, especially heavyweights, man, they're not that smart. Okay, when you start nailing them with a good shot, when you start nailing them with some good shots, Joe, they bite. They go for those feints. You know what I mean? They'll start freezing up and getting tense when you start feinting them and everything. So that's Usyk's strengths and weaknesses. His boxing IQ and his intelligence and his ability to control range and distance. His weaknesses, he just can't fight inside. All of them Eastern European fighters, most of them can't fight at close range.
Indeed, yeah, we've seen that over the years. And so obviously that's going to be Dereck Chisora's key to victory, and his only chance to win this fight is cut off the reaction time of Oleksandr Usyk and make him fight in a phone booth. How difficult is that going to be, though, with Oleksandr Usyk's brilliant footwork, Gogue?
Very fucking hard, man, because you're going to be, you try to press Usyk. He's a sharpshooter. He'll pick you apart coming in, especially Chisora. His defense ain't all that good, okay? All right?
Yeah,
it ain't all that good. Ain't that bad, Joe. Come on, man. Don't give him some credit. But he'll get picked apart. But, Joe, he's going to have to go through some fire to get to that range he needs to be effective, to land that big overhand right, to land them uppercuts, to land the hooks, okay? When you find a guy like this, you want to get close. You want to get that distance close. And what's going to be effective for Chisora? That overhand right, the uppercut,
Indeed.
the right uppercut, left hook, the right uppercut to the chin, followed by the left hook back, the sweeping right hand, the straight right hand to the body. Okay, to slow him down. The sweeping right hook to the body. Okay, straight. And the right hand from long range ain't gonna work on Usyk. He's got good eyes. He'll see those punches and take a step back just to make you miss. So he's got to get that distance close enough where he can throw the medium range right hands, the short to medium range right hands, where Usyk won't react as good, and so he has a better chance of hitting them. But that overhand right, Joe, if he gets the right distance, that's what I would throw. That's butter. The sweeping right hooks to the body, the straight right hands to the body, the uppercut, the right uppercut, left hooks, inside close, that's butter. That's going to work for him, okay? See, Joe, you got to have a strategy when you get inside. You just can't get inside and just throw a bunch of fucking dumb punches. You know what I mean? What punches are going to work best on Usyk? Me, when he gets closer, that sweeping right hook to the body. What sets that punch up, that sweeping right hook to the body? When you get close enough, them jabs in his face, just to keep him occupied, okay? Just to keep his attention on them jabs where you don't see that sweeping right hook to the body. What's going to set up that straight right hand to the body? The jabs, the touch jabs, them quick touch jabs that Usyk's face. Drop that right hand right down to the body. That's going to take his legs away, and that's going to make him more of a stationary target. Then what happens when he gets close? Of course, Usyk's going to try to grab and hold like a little bitch, tie him up because he can't fight in the pocket. But you can't let him do that, Joe. You can't let them tie you up. You got to keep them elbows tucked in, like I always talked about, like I talked about last week, Joe. You got to keep them elbows tucked in nice and tight, where he doesn't have nothing to grab. And when he tries to reach out and grab you, you got to time him with them body shots, the right uppercuts to the body, or them left uppercuts to the body, or the right uppercuts, left hooks. Or Joe, when you're getting close enough and you see Usyk's left hand kind of low, you don't telegraph that overhand right. What you do, you keep your, what you do. What I tell my guys, when you throw that overhand right when you're close and you're fighting a southpaw, keep your eyes on his chest or his stomach to distract him. Okay? Because if you're looking at his head, okay, you know what I mean. If you're looking at his head, he knows that you're gonna try to throw some punch, some type of punch, right hand, overhand right to his head. But if you got your eyes on his chest or his stomach, he's thinking that you're going to be throwing to his body or chest. Then that's when you loop that overhand right over the top. Boom! Because he says, he's going to expect those punches coming to your body. But if you loop it over if you got your eyes on his chest or stomach, just loop it over the top. Boom! And that's why those right hands to the body and the sweeping right hooks to the body are going to be important, Joe, because it's going to set up that overhand right. You understand, Joe? Every punch leads to another punch. Yeah, that's a strategy, Joe, you got to use, man. That's IQ. You got to think. You know what I mean? But in order to be effective, you got to get to that distance. And that's where it's going to be hard for Chisora. He's going to get his ass whooped. He's going to get picked apart.
Hold on, Gogue, you're jumping the gun, brother. So we look at the odds. Right now, Oleksandr Usyk is labeled currently on most racing sports books as a 9-1 betting favorite, with Dereck Chisora listed as a 5.5 or 6-1 betting underdog. So most people seem to think that Oleksandr Usyk is going to pick this guy apart as he's trying to come in and move close into punching range. Do you agree with him? How do you see this fight playing out?
He's going to get picked apart. That brilliant IQ of Usyk on knowing how to control range and distance, okay? Strong left. Usyk throws a beautiful straight left hand by itself, okay? After he feints you, he'll jab you. Then all of a sudden he'll sneak that left hand. Chisora's going to, he's going to get caught with a lot of those. If I was Usyk too, I time him. Let him come in. Let him get past your jab a little bit, not a lot. And when he's coming in, sneak that left uppercut in there. Ooh. I mean, And then after you catch him with that left uppercut, take a step back to get out of range and establish your jab again. Okay, establish control of distance and your footwork, Joe. Pivot around him. See, a puncher's only good if you're like a heavy bag. If you're like a heavy bag and just stands there. A puncher needs to set his feet a puncher needs to set his feet to get into rhythm. But a guy like Usyk, he's not going to let Chisora set his feet. He's going to, in and out of range. He's going to pivot around him. He's going to move in circles. He's always going to keep Chisora feet. He's always going to have Chisora picking up his feet. Okay, he's never going to let Chisora, a majority of the time, give him the opportunity to set his feet and stand there like a punching bag. So, yeah, he's going to get picked apart. Chisora, he's going to get his ass whooped real bad. Real bad.
Well, so, guys, that one is going to be on DAZN. And to be honest with you, Gogue, there's another very intriguing fight that's going to be in your co-main event of the evening. And it's not of great consequence, but it's still a very good fight. And that's going to be Lee Selby versus George Kambosos Jr. in your 12-round co-main event for the IBF lightweight title eliminator. Basically, this is your elimination bout. It's a great matchup. And to be honest with you, it's the closest even money matchup on the card, right? In the undercard, you also have Savannah Marshall versus Hannah Rankin for the vacant WBO middleweight female championship, right? And that's going to be pretty much it on DAZN with a start time, guys. I think the card begins at 1 p.m. Eastern here in the States.
Yeah.
So, guys, look forward to that. It's going to be a full day of boxing. So now we turn our attention more to the return of the monster, the Japanese monster, Gogue, Naoya Inoue versus Jason Moloney in your 12-round main event. And that's going to be for Inoue's IBF and WBA 118-pound world titles. Gogue, he's been out for almost a year, and in his last fight, boy, he competed in a fight of the year with, former fighter of the year, Nonito Donaire, in which he won a unanimous decision with scores of 116-111, 114-113, and 117-109. But Gogue, he suffered some collateral damage in that fight. He broke his orbital bone with the hard counter left hand of Nonito Donaire. Should we expect to see the same version of the monster Naoya Inoue this Saturday night on ESPN?
Nothing's going to change. He's going to be the same devastating, knockout artist he is. Okay, explosive punch. Like I said, Joe, the reason guys are at that elite level, or a lot of them, is because they have those rare gifts 99.9% of the fighters don't have. Explosive punching. Inoue is one of them. Tank Davis is one of them. Okay, that's not only Inoue is a good, fundamentally sound fighter too, Joe. He could box you. He could box you if he has to. He could fight inside if he has to. Okay, counter punch and all that stuff. But it's just the punches he throws is nothing fancy. They're basic fundamental punches. He has more of a Mexican style, aggressive style. He loves them body shots. He's a devastating body puncher, Inoue. When he hits you to that body, he hurts you. He hurt down there. Okay, and just frightening one-punch power, Joe. He could take you out any time. Payano, tough guy who fought Danny Roman. He drilled him in one round. Okay, that's to tell you that's the kind of frightening power this Japanese guy has. Inoue. Man, one of my favorite fighters in boxing, Joe. I always knew that fight with Donaire solidified himself as a fighter. Why? Because he fought through the tough times in the fight, the adverse moments in the fight. When he had his eye broken and he was still fighting through. He was still fighting. The strong will to win. He has that. A lot of those Japanese fighters, Joe, they're like samurais. Okay, they come from that samurai tradition, pride and honor. Okay, warrior mentality. Okay, all right. They don't lay down like a dog, like these motherfuckers here when the fight gets tough. They'll fight. Okay, them Japanese fighters are warriors. That samurai, it's tradition. Pride and honor. Okay. That's what I mean, Joe. It's honor. Their pride. In Mexico, it's their machismo. Okay, and that's the Japanese fighter. But anyway, man, beautiful left hooks to the body, right uppercuts, sweeping right hooks to the body, the uppercuts, left hooks, straight right hands. Joe, he's a fundamentally sound, mechanically fundamentally sound fighter with just frightening punching power. Ooh. And Jason Moloney, he's going to get his ass whooped worse than Chisora. So we're gonna see two beatdowns, Joe, in the afternoon. We're gonna see. It's gonna be an appetizer.
No. This one, Gogue. This one is going to be taking place prime time on ESPN. This is what I don't like about the Gervonta Davis-Leo Santa Cruz fight in the Alamodome. It's going to be going head-to-head with not only the return of one of boxing's, best pound-for-pound fighters, but it's going to be on free TV, Gogue.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest obstacles that the Gervonta Davis pay-per-view has to overcome, because you've seen, Naoya Inoue is not only in everyone's pound-for-pound top 5, but he's also one of boxing's more entertaining fighters as well. Mm-hmm. And this is going to be for free. And originally, Bob Arum was very respectful, saying, okay, well, we know Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz is going to be on the 24th, so we'll put Jason Moloney versus Naoya Inoue the following weekend just to stay out of its way. But then Heyman had the bright idea of taking this and putting it on Halloween and sticking this in the Alamodome. Do you think this is? I think this is terribly. This is a terrible miscalculation for Mayweather Promotions and PBC. I think this is going to really dramatically hurt the commercial success of that pay-per-view on Showtime. Because even though Jason Moloney is a good-looking fighter with a lot of power, he comes into the ring with a record of 21-1 with 18 knockouts. Yeah, he doesn't exactly have the best defense in the world, does he?
He's gonna get. Oh man, I can't tell you the ass whooping he's gonna get you, Joe. I can't even describe it right now. That's how bad he's gonna get his ass whooped.
Do you remember? Oh gosh, what was the name of that fighter from Australia back in the day? He had those great, fight of the year candidates with the Polish fighter.
Jeff Fennick.
Huh?
Was it Jeff Fennick?
No. I was talking about Riggs. What's his name? Oh goodness gracious! I can't think of his name right now. But they fought on the undercard of Galata versus Lehman Brewster in Chicago several years ago.
Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I can't remember his name. Yeah. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, but that's who he reminds me of. A hard puncher, tough, durable guy, but not the greatest defensive fighter in the world, and that's going to ultimately be his undoing now, isn't it, Gogue? Oh,
man, you know what? I give Maloney credit, coming off that win. Now, stepping, now he's fighting one of the, the best pound-for-pound, hardest punchers in the world. Yeah. You got to give a guy credit, Joe, when he's going to get his ass whooped, okay? So I give him a lot of credit, okay?
Yeah. Unfortunately, Jason Moloney, he's up against it. Oh, goodness gracious.
Well, like I said, it's I want to see the monster, you know. I want to see him, you know, and fighting on ESPN, you know, America will get a chance to see him for free. You know, who this, you know, because, Joe, I don't care what nationality you are, you know, you get on TV and you produce an explosive knockout. Nowadays, they're going to talk about you here in America, okay? And that's what he needs. He's already a superstar in Japan. He gets crazy ratings, unbelievable ratings. But he hasn't, you know, if you want to be a star in boxing, you got to conquer America, okay? And fighting on ESPN,
he definitely has the right promoter, that's for sure.
Yeah, and fighting in America is the first step in developing that fan base, okay? When you're an explosive puncher like him, you know, Hispanics love him. Hispanics, you know, will take a, what do you call it? A liking to him like Golovkin. Now, if this guy learns English and speaks Spanish, that's even better. But, you know, Inoue, yeah, because you got to communicate with your fans. You just can't talk Japanese and expect to build a fan base with the Hispanics. But, you know, they'll take a liking to him, man, once he starts knocking these guys out, man. You know what I mean? The way he fights. Yeah, I like – he's one of my favorite fighters, Inoue. And like I said, I'm just – after this fight, I just want to see him in more high-profile fights and everything. You know what I mean?
Indeed. Well, he's with the right promoter, and he's on the right network for that. He should score a huge hit on ESPN. And the fight that I was referring to, Gogue, and my apologies for not having that readily available, but I was referring to Tomas Adamek versus Paul Briggs of Australia.
Yeah.
That was a fight of the year. Paul Briggs, what a tough Aussie. Guy had heavy hands, good boxing ability, but no defense, and took a ton of punishment from Tomas Adamek, and that was a fight of the year. So I guess what I'm alluding to, Gogue, is Jason Maloney's cut from the same cloth as Paul Briggs, even though he's only 5'5" and fights at 118 pounds. This is a guy who's tough, and he's going to be, in mark my word, this is going to be a potential fight of the year candidate. But yeah, he's gonna suffer some real damage in this fight. This could be career altering now, couldn't it, Gogue?
Oh, you fight Inoue and you get your ass whooped. Oh yeah. Definitely career altering. And them body shots he's gonna be getting hit with by Inoue. Oof. Like I said, Inoue's a devastating body puncher. Not only devastating puncher to the head, but the body is just as bad. Oh my God. Yeah, I like Inoue, and I'm going to be excited to see him, on ESPN, where the whole USA will see who this killer is, this monster they call him.
Yeah, and in the co-main event of the evening, surprisingly enough, and I don't mean to sound like a chauvinist, but I'm sorry, Gogue, it's a different product. I usually don't look forward to female fighters when they're on the card. I always go and get something to eat or go and get a beverage when that happens.
Michaela.
But this fight actually has me intrigued. This is going to be in the co-main event of the Iwa Brodnicka. She's going to be taking on Michaela Meyer for the WBO junior lightweight title, Gogue. Yeah, are you interested in seeing the return of Michaela Meyer as well?
Michaela Meyer, I like her, man. She's one of the few women I follow in boxing. She has a high boxing IQ. Al Mitchell has done an excellent job of teaching her the sweet science and the fundamentals of boxing from range and distance. Footwork. She knows how to use that ring, Joe. Okay? She knows how to maneuver around her opponents. She knows how to move in and out of range. Okay? She knows how to use her jab. She knows how to feint with her jab. Okay? She knows how to the different variations of jabs. And once she gets her jab going, she's not afraid to let her hands go, okay? Combinations. She knows how to fight inside, too, a little bit, Joe. Okay? She's becoming an all-around fighter by improving her skill sets in fighting in the trenches. But her footwork is, her ability to move in and out of range, move in circles, her ability to use her high IQ to keep the fight in the center of the ring where she can maximize the real estate in the ring efficiently as best as she can. Yeah, she makes fights so much easier because of her boxing IQ and her ability to use her footwork to control range and distance and control and maximize the real estate in the ring. Yeah, I like her, Joe. She's a lot smarter than a lot of these other men fighters, okay, that don't have the IQ she has. And she's becoming a better inside fighter. She'll get inside when she has to and bend them knees and rip them body shots, okay, when she has to. She just doesn't hold and tie them up like the men do and start blowing, kissing them. She'll fight if she has to on the inside with decent, inside skills. Not great, but, basic fundamentals. But, yeah, Michaela, I didn't know she was fighting. She's smart. She's intelligent. So I'm looking forward to seeing that fight.
Co-main event of the evening on ESPN. Gogue, so here are some dark horses, some fights to look out for. One, the main event of the evening on Friday, October 30th on DAZN, Jaime Munguia taking on Toriano Johnson. Should be an extremely entertaining main event.
Yeah. And
that's scheduled for 12 rounds in the 160-pound weight division. But then here are some honorable mentions. In your co-main event of the evening on DAZN on October 31st, Lee Selby versus George Kambosos Jr. for your 12-round IBF lightweight eliminator. And here's one that I'm really looking forward to. This is a 10-round special attraction on that same card. Undefeated prospect from Britain, David Allen in the heavyweight division versus Christopher Lovejoy of Las Vegas. Gogue, I think this one's going to be really entertaining as long as it lasts, and you're going to see one big stiff hit the canvas. David Allen versus Christopher Lovejoy. That's an honorable mention fight. Gogue, is there anything that we left out?
No, I'm just looking forward to seeing Jaime Munguia. I want to see, like I talked about to you, Joe, earlier, if he improved on his performance from the last fight. He improved. He's boxing better. He's controlling range and distance better. He's using his jab more effectively, and he's still got that aggressive style. Okay, Joe? He's thinking more. He's being more patient. He's not just running in all crazy and throwing punches, with no game plan. Now he's got a game plan. Now he's being more. He's fighting with more composure and poise, like a pro. So I want to see if he can continue that improvement against a tough, pressure, durable fighter like Toriano Johnson. Okay, because we all know Munguia could fight. But he needed a lot of work on his overall game, his skills, especially his defense, moving his head, working off his jab, working feints, being more patient, stuff like that, Joe. And I've seen him improve in his last fight.
Absolutely, and we look forward to seeing him this Friday night on DAZN. Guys, don't forget to tune in. But, Gogue, we are out of time. We've reached another 90-minute show, brother. We're going to have to be expanding this program to an entire 2 hours, brother.
Yeah.
So your parting shots for our listening audience this evening.
Hey, tune in this weekend, starting Friday, then the fight's on Saturday. I mean, golly, we got a great weekend of boxing coming, fans. And like I said, I'm going to be tuning in, especially Friday night and the ones all day Saturday, Tune in. And
well, I tell you what, Gogue.
Of course, as always.
I'm sorry, Gogue, as you were. My apologies, sir.
Of course, as always, thanks for tuning in all over the world, especially all our UK fans. Love you guys.
Guys, his name is James Gogue, 3-decade fight trainer. We're always so fortunate to be able to listen to his counsel every single week. And Gogue, because it's such a big weekend, we should do a special post-fight this Saturday night, Halloween. What do you think, brother, right after the main event of the evening happens?
Yeah, we'll talk about it during the week, Joe. Yeah, let's talk about it, okay?
Very good. Guys, he's James Gogue. Thank you so much. You've been listening to World Week Radio. On behalf of James Gogue, I'm Joseph Herron. Have a great Monday evening, everybody. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe on our YouTube page.